The battle today will be between this Peugeot with Laurent Aiello driving and this BMW with Jochen Winkelhock. It's a battle for the driver's title. Aiello is the current points leader. 9 victories this season. He has been the dominant force. Jochen Winkelhock has challenged all season long. He's stayed in contention. He's second in the points and 4 victories. But this isn't the only championship that's on the line. Peugeot is second in the Manufacturers' Championship. They're trailing BMW. So the battle is not only for the driver's title, but also for the Manufacturers' Championship. And the spoiler in all of this, it's the most improved car of the season, the Opels. They'd like to cap the season off with a win. This is the Super Touring Car Cup, coming today from the Regio Ring in Lahr, Germany. A great crowd on hand for all the racing here in the Black Forest area. It used to be a Canadian Air Force base. It's now a racetrack, a new one for this particular series. This was the situation in qualifying yesterday. Intermittent rain. It made it tough for the drivers.
The last qualifying was absolutely crazy. The weather conditions are so bad, and I think we have 3 or 4 times the pole position on rain tires, on intermediates and slicks, and with the last set of tires, I came in the traffic behind the quad team, and that's it. 5th place. I'm not so happy.
But the man who is happy is this man, Johnny Cecotto in the Bugazzi BMW. He's on the sprint pole for the 2nd time this season after a very difficult qualifying session.
The important thing was to be out all the time and to run, to wait the right moment and to choose the right tire at the right moment. I had a stop, which I didn't want. I had to stand outside for a while. I went a little bit too far on the wet, then I slide off. And then afterwards, the car was a little bit smashed, but they managed to fix it, and I managed to do the time at the very end.
2nd fastest outside pole, 3rd time this season, Laurent Aiello in his Peugeot. He could wrap up the driver's title today. And for this young man, Christian Menzel, that was how practice went on Saturday morning, yesterday morning. He damaged his car badly. The crew went to work, and he was able to qualify. And when he did qualify, he qualified 3rd.
I'm happy because in the morning in the 2nd free practice, I had damaged my car here, and it was not a little bit, it was very hard impact. And I say thank you to my team, and because the timing was perfect. I was out with my good tires, and okay, the time was good enough for a moment with the 1st place, and I come in and we have a 2nd set with good tires, and I go out and I have not enough time, 1 or 2 seconds earlier on the pit lane, yeah? And then on the finish line, and I have 1 lap more, and I'm sure that I can drive a better time.
In 4th qualifying slot, tactically placed, Jorg van Omen in the Peugeot. And then back in 9th place, Jochen Winkelhock, the man who's out to try to take the title, and that's why he qualified so far behind. They had to work on the car, get it repaired. But that wasn't the only problem during qualifying. That was Alfred Hager going through the corner and through the mud. The qualifying also was a difficult one for Christian Donner. Count the number of spins here. What was really excellent is he missed the tires. 3 complete turns. Amazing. Great crowd on hand for this course here, 2.07 miles long. The sprint, 15 laps. The race will be 30 laps. A basic air court course with a great crowd on hand. Everybody has their favorite team, of course. And there are all kinds of mascots here to help the sponsors and everyone else that the fans come to see. So we're about ready to go with the sprint race, the 1st race of the day, here in the Super Touring Car Cup in Lahr, Germany, in the Black Forest. Well, I guess he's ready too. So if he's ready, so are we. We're ready to go. The sprint race. This is Aiello on the left. On the right, Ciccato. The car turned in a little bit because the corner comes up immediately here. It's a right-hander. And we're underway. The BMWs, once again, as expected, get off to a great start. They have a great starting capability because they have the rear-wheel drive cars. The Peugeots are front-wheel drive. And Ciccato gets the lead. Christian Menzel, who started third, is running second. And it's Aiello running third. And Alsen and Van Omen are battling back there for fourth place. And Van Omen slips into fourth. And the question is, where is Jochen Winkelhock? He's back in the pack just a little bit. But he's got to move forward. He cannot afford to sit back there around what looks to be eighth place. Christian Donner's gone off the course in his Alfa Romeo. Ciccato, your leader. Then comes Christian Menzel, starting his best position yet in touring car racing here in Germany. The rest of the field sorting itself out here. A very fast course, and yet a very bumpy course. You're going to see the cars have a tendency to bounce a lot here, particularly in the various changeovers in surface, going from the cement blocks to the connecting pieces. And as Ciccato brings them around once again as we near the end of the first lap, BMW out in front with the rest of the pack working their way through. And a bump in the back, an Audi and an Opel came together. Manuel Pirro and it looks like Manuel Reuter in the Opel came together. By the pit area, which is not the start-finish line, this is where the start-finish area is, right in front of the grandstand. So they come by the pits first and then they go off. Car going off the course, the car going off was Prince van Bayern, and that was where Donner also went off, it looks like. Here's the bump here. Pirro tried to cut inside, and Reuter was already there, and they bumped. It looks like they're both able to continue racing, though. Up front, Johnny Ciccato. Here comes Aiello. He needs to get to the front. A victory here and a victory in the second race mean title time. If not, it's put off till the final race weekend of the season at the Nürburgring, but we're a long way from there yet. Christian Menzel is driving well. He's going to be Rookie of the Year in the series. However, today, if he's going to sit in this position, he's got to hold off Aiello as best he can until Winkelhock can try to come forward. And there goes Danny File. Wow, did he destroy both the tires and his car on Alfa Romeo. There's Uwe Alsen in the Opel, and he is running fifth. So Alsen continues his great performances this season, bringing the Alfa fans to their feet every weekend. Here comes Aiello working on Mansell, and he gets by him. So Laurent Aiello, the points leader, is running second. As long as he can keep Manfred Winkelhock in his rearview mirror, he's in great shape. Another collision for Manuel Reuter, who is trying to work his way back up through the field. He bumped into the Nissan of Asch. Boy, what a rough day he's had. Johnny Ciccato, third in the points race, leading here. He is the teammate of Jochen Winkelhock. Everyone is aware of the points here. Earlier this season, a couple of races ago actually, BMW said, okay, the man is out in front of the points, we've got to help them. And so in this race today, it could be some teamwork here. If Winkelhock can come to the front, the other drivers will try to help him as best they can. If he doesn't get there, it's every man for himself. Manuel Pirro, after being bumped around, has a back fender problem. He's going to have to come in and get that removed. Jorg van Omen, the teammate of Aiello, who would like to get up in front and also provide some help for his man, is running fourth right now. Uwe Alsen is running fifth right behind him, and then comes Ivan Mullier, the Frenchman, in the Audi. That is a front-wheel drive Audi. He and Pirro have the front-wheel drive Audis. The other two are four-wheel drives. Here comes Manuel Reuter. That car has seen its better days. Ciccato, Aiello, and the surprising young Christian Menzel, the Opel team running out to meet Reuter when he comes into the pits. Van Omen, Alsen, and Mullier. That's the top group here in Lahr, Germany. The first time that the Super Touring Car Cup Series has raced on this airport course. There have been a number of airport course races this season. In fact, Germany right now is in a racing boom. New courses have opened. Plenty of places to race. Before it was a two-track country basically and some airports. Now they've got 3-4 courses that they can call regular courses. And of course the airport circuit. So it promises to be some great racing here. And of course the city course. Can't forget the Norris Ring in Nuremberg, Germany. Usually the best crowd all season. 104,000 were there this year. Aiello continues to put the pressure on Cecotto. Now, whether Aiello wants to truly challenge here yet or not is the question. There comes Manfred Winkelhock. He's running right behind Kurt Thiem in the Opel. So Winkelhock, who had started 9th, has got to work his way forward. And he moves into 7th place here. So Winkelhock continues to move up a slot, but everybody's got to finish this one. Here comes Aiello. He wants to get inside, and Cecotto cuts him off. No room at the inn on that one. This through the busy section of the course, a elongated chicane. Here you have a change of surface again and a nice bounce coming through. Come down by a grandstand, and then you go into the first gear hairpin, which takes them by the pit lane. And then they come into the corner where there's been a lot of action, particularly yesterday in the wet. This hard left-hander, cars have been going off quite regularly here and into the wall or into the gravel. For some reason, there's a little bump right there in the middle of the corner, so when the cars come in, the car gets a little bit airborne. And if they haven't got it set right, off they go. And yesterday in the rain, it was very difficult. Aiello right on the back bumper of Cecotto. Now, Cecotto is certainly a veteran of touring car sports. A 41-year-old from Venezuela, makes his home in Italy. He's been champion in touring cars. He's raced everything you can imagine. And he's a very temperamental driver. You just have to work your tail off if you want to get by him. He is not easy to pass. And now, because he knows he's got to keep Laurent Aiello as far back as he possibly can to give his teammate Joachim Winkelhock a chance to come forward, he will be difficult to pass. You can hear the cars scrape as they change surfaces from the runway to the connecting pieces. There comes Uwe Alsen. He's moving up. And Van Omen has lost a place to Muller. So Ivan Muller has moved up past Jorg Van Omen, and right behind Van Omen comes Joachim Winkelhock. Winkelhock running 7th. Bamberger in the Alfa Romeo goes off the course. He had a couple of spins yesterday in the rain that were quite dramatic. Ivan Muller is an interesting story. All season long he's been the test driver for Audi in their front-wheel drive car. First part of the season there was a lot of work being done, and it was obviously, no matter what, it can be frustrating even though the driver knows he's testing. Now the car's running up front in the top 5 and 6. Things are getting better looking ahead toward next year. Aiello once again puts in the fastest lap. Actually, he has been strictly a dominant force in fast laps, particularly in the sprints. He has 6 fast laps during the sprint races this season. Winkelhock has 2. Those are the only 2 that have been putting in fast laps in the sprint races. You're looking at the 2 makes that have dominated the series this year. And then in that blue and white Opel, a team that has come back and made major strides forward. They came in new to the series, worked and worked and worked after some disappointing first couple of races. And then Uwe Alsen caught fire, and so did the Opel team, and he's brought them up front with 3rd place finishes. They just would like to see if they can get up on the top of the podium. They've reached the podium, now they want to get to the top. Doesn't everybody? Aiello on the left, once again trying to make the move on Cecotto, but there is no room. Cecotto doesn't let him by. Here comes Menzel. Menzel and Alsen battling. And Uwe Alsen is now set the fastest lap. That would be something new. Another first for the Opel crew this season. Thanks to Uwe Alsen. Here comes Laurent Aiello on the right. Once again, no room. He's got to pull back in line. They come off the asphalt, back onto the cement, changing to asphalt again. You can see the cars jump there as they change surfaces. And Chicotto continues to control the race. Here in Lahr, Germany, in the Black Forest. Super Touring Car Cup. 9th race weekend of the season. Winkelhock has not been able to put any more space or close the space anymore between himself and Aiello. You're riding with Moulier, and you get a good look at the course. If you come up right by the start-finish line, immediately out to the left, you aim right for that 100-meter sign to cut back through the corner. It's a wide area here to come out, and everybody uses as much as they can of it. A long straight here, over 120 miles an hour. Then comes a left-hander as we switch runways. You see the bounce there. They come out of there with a sort of a bubble corner. Then they go into this elongated chicane as you're looking at Uwe Alsen in the Opel. Then another long straightaway. They get up to 6th gear easily here. Well over 125, 130 miles an hour, fastest point in the course. Now you're back in with Moulier, and as you head out onto the course here. Ahead of him, Uwe Alsen. You saw the bumps there as Alsen's car took a dip. Grandstand on the right, well filled here. Then the first gear coming down to the next to last corner here comes by pit lane here on the right. Cars go right up against the wall to set up for this corner. Watch the bump. See it? Through the bump and back into the start-finish line. And that's the course here in Lahr, Germany. And Philipp Peter in the Audi makes a mistake and bumps into the car of Modena. Now, Stefano Modena has been the best Alfa Romeo driver in what's been a dismal season for them. It's a shame if he went out this early. He's the one bright light they've had so far this year. Here comes Aiello once again. He can't get by Chicotto. He also doesn't want to risk any damage to the car because you want to finish this race. This is what sets you up and qualifies you for the feature race, although you get a lot of points for this race. And the points are doubled in the feature. So right now, Aiello needs all he can get, and as long as he knows that Winkelhock is behind him, he's in great shape. Philipp Peter brings in the Audi into the pits. Go to work on that car. So it becomes a tactical situation. The top two now with space between themselves. Alsen, young Christian Menzel, Ivan Moulier. Then comes Van Omen in the yellow Peugeot, and then comes Jochen Winkelhock. Winkelhock also can't afford to really put too much of a charge on. He's got to preserve the car. They'll be able to change tires for the feature. They only get to use 10 tires, 10 for the entire qualifying and for the race. So they have to conserve as best they can. These are some of the tires they used in the qualifying, so they want to get through the sprint first, and then they can change and get a good set of tires on for the feature race. Alsen is running very strong here in 3rd place. Van Omen, coming into the series from the International Touring Car Championship last year, had a little bit of difficulty adjusting, although he's in one of the top teams, and he admits it was much easier to adjust when you're with a top team than when you're not quite with one of the better teams. And he stepped right into the shoes of Peugeot and has felt comfortable. Took a couple of races, and then he's been running up with the leaders the rest of the season. Philipp Peter watching as they work on his car. Austrian, a very friendly driver, had a great finish in the airport course in Saarbrücken. But otherwise, the season has not been too strong for him. Once again, down pit lane, this time looking back into the very fast left-hander. Walls all the way around here. Most of the road courses they run on don't have the walls quite that close to the corner, so this is something always a little bit different when they run to the airport courses. This one has a lot of runoff areas, but they also have some areas that are very, very tight. In fact, on the first day here, Thursday, the cars came and had a regular test session without timing, And Aiello here trying to pull out on the right, he rolled his cars. They went through and he hit some tires or a pylon with tires. He rolled the car, totaled it. They had to bring a new car out. Actually, he stepped into Van Olmen's car. Van Olmen stepped into the backup car, and that's how they went. So after Aiello rolled his car on Thursday, they came back and made some changes because, as we said, it's the first time they've been here, and now the course suits the drivers, although they all say that when they come back next year, if they do, that there'll have to be a few more changes to make it a little bit safer. Ceccato and Laurent Aiello. That's Bromberger's Alfa Romeo. One of the cars are about to lap. Aiello has not made a serious challenge. He's pulled out left and right, but he's forced Ceccato to go, and Ceccato takes the victory here in the sprint race at Lahr, Germany, in the Black Forest. Johnny Ceccato, your winner, ahead of Laurent Aiello. The question is, where's Winkelhock? 7th. So Aiello did pick up some points. Ceccato the victory. In fact, he controlled the race.
Yes, I was watching for Laurent. He was very quick, but it was not a problem to control him.
All right, the car seemed to run beautifully. You should be pretty well set up for the second race then.
Yeah, it looks okay. Maybe now we have to choose another type of tire for the race, for the main race, because I think with this it's a little bit at the limit.
And there's the point standings. Aiello's still out in front. He did pick up some ground, but the feature race is ahead, and the question is, are tires going to be the key to the second event?
I think we are about the same as the BMW. So I think that for sure we will have to control the tires, and then we will see, but I have to control the race.
So now the mechanics go to work to get the cars ready for the second event. And while they do that, they give us a chance to take a look at one of the top drivers in the field. BMW star Joachim Winkelhock has had quite a season. He's challenged for the title throughout. It could be called almost a surprise season.
So far, really, I must say, I'm really satisfied. It was a good season. I was more or less really successful, which I didn't expect this year.
He showed his temper, though, at the Nürburgring. These were the only 2 events he didn't finish.
You know, I was in a really good position, and they showed me the black flag. So I lost at this time for sure 45 points, which I need now in the championship, you know. But okay, this race is gone, and so far the whole team and also BMW that did a really good job.
Previously, Winkelhock had driven 2.5-liter touring cars, but now he's in these 2-liter cars, and it's quite a change for every driver.
So you have to drive a really different style, you know, very softly and gently, because you should keep the speed during the corner for the straight. And maybe this was also, I'm sure this was the problem for the people from the DTM or from the ITC cars.
His car is prepared by Gabriele Raffanelli and the Bugazzi team. And all this is happening when it's a great time to be a race driver in Germany. There are new tracks, and more importantly, there's new financial support.
This starts already, already when I was in Formula 3, you know, the mind in Germany about the motorsport is changing a little bit, and then it starts really when Schumacher was so successful in Formula 1. And about this I'm really happy, because when I started motorsport 79, it was really difficult, you know, for a young driver to get a little bit support, to get a sponsorship, and today they do really a lot for the youngsters.
Joachim Winkelhock, a very popular German driver whose popularity spreads to all areas of Europe. So the crews continue to work here, and the fans, well, they get to watch this, and they get to watch some entertainment from a rather unusual band. This is called the Kipner-Mohr-Bacher Band. Something totally different here in Lahr, Germany. ready to go. This, the feature race, 30 laps. And once again, Cecotto on the right, gets his car turned in because of the right-hander immediately coming up. Aiello is right next to him. And here comes, once again, Christian Menzel jumping into second place ahead of Laurent Aiello. So Aiello finds himself once again right behind the BMWs. And look at that. Jochen Winkelhock has come from 7th position up to 4th, and he's right behind Laurent Aiello. So Aiello has certainly got his hands full. He's sandwiched in between the BMWs. His teammate, Jorg van Olmen, is behind him. And if there's going to be teamwork, van Olmen needs to pull up a little bit and give some breathing room to his companion. But right now, once again, Johnny Cecotto is out in front. Then comes Christian Menzel. Then Laurent Aiello. Then Winkelhock. Then van Olmen. And then Moulier. And it looks like Alfred Hager in the Honda is in the next slot. And Winkelhock goes by Laurent Aiello. Jochen Winkelhock has gone by Laurent Aiello. This is a very important point, mainly because if the mathematics are correct, if Aiello can finish ahead, this is Mueller going by van Olmen. This puts Aiello's teammate back. But again, what we were saying, if Aiello can simply finish ahead of Winkelhock, he has the season championship. It's a matter of him finishing 2 points ahead of him, which means finish ahead of him on the track. Winkelhock simply needs, actually to win, but he needs to stay ahead of Aiello to stay in contention. Plenty of drama here. The top 3 BMWs, then comes Laurent Aiello, then comes the Audi of Moulier, then comes the Peugeot of van Olmen. That is Marco Werner, who's back there, not Hager, Marco Werner. Then Uwe Alsen is behind Werner. Alsen did not get a good start. Here comes Winkelhock. He is going to get by his teammate, Christian Menzel. So Menzel lets him by to move into second place, and now it's going to be Menzel's job to hold off Laurent Aiello. It's 3 against 1 here in Lahr. Winkelhock, in the meantime, has got to catch up to his teammate, Johnny Cecotto. And most likely, Cecotto will let him by so that Winkelhock can stay out in front. And then Laurent Aiello has to get by both Christian Menzel and then Johnny Cecotto. Menzel, a rookie, this is no offense to get him, but he might be easier to pass than Cecotto certainly will be. Although Menzel has shown a tremendous talent this year. He's taken a car that is not factory backed and has run up front. He's qualified well. He's put on a great show. Here comes Aiello. It looks like he wants to get by Menzel. He cuts inside. He's got the line, and he's going to get by. Going through that little bubble corner. So Aiello takes over third. He's by Christian Menzel. But now he's got to work on Johnny Cecotto, or rather Jochen Winkelhock and Johnny Cecotto. Now Winkelhock is not going to let anybody, particularly Laurent Aiello, by. Not now. He has to stay up there in front. The last race at the Salzburger in Austria was a battle, the best one of the season. And Menzel gets back by Aiello. Christian Menzel has shoved Aiello back to 4th place. Aiello and Winkelhock had a tremendous battle at the Salzburg ring, both the sprint and the feature. At that track, Winkelhock's car was not as strong. And yet he was able to hold off. We have a car tapped. Müller was tapped by van Olmen. We head up here and comes van Olmen by him. So Jorg van Olmen in the Peugeot has moved on. Moving now up into lap 7. Aiello still working on Menzel. The top 4 remain the same. Top 5 actually, with van Olmen 5th. Here comes Aiello again. He has been battling all race long, trying to get to the front. Now you know this is going to deal devastation to his tires, let alone what kind of damage it does to the motor. He has pushed that car from the beginning. He has been back as far as 4th. He's into 3rd right now. He has Jochen Winkelhock ahead of him. Winkelhock slowly closing in on Johnny Cecotto, the leader. They are teammates. And Chicado most likely will let Winkelhock by if he gets close enough, because Winkelhock needs the points for the championship. He needs him to stay in the championship with one more race weekend to go. Here's how Aiello got by Menzel. It looked like he made a mistake, and Aiello got by him to move into third. The BMW team certainly concerned here. Laurent Aiello has got some catching up to do. There's some space between himself and the top two BMWs. An even longer space back here between, there's Van Omen and the sister Peugeot car. And Uwe Alsen running back there in the Opel. And there goes Winkelhock by Johnny Chicado, plenty of room. Nobody was going to touch anybody in that passing maneuver. Gabriele Raffanelli on the right there, team manager from Bugatti. He's calling the shots. So now the man out in front for BMW is the man they want there. That's Joachim Winkelhock, second in the points. He has got to stay ahead of Laurent Aiello. On the other hand, Aiello, if he wants to win the championship here in Lahr, has to get ahead of Winkelhock. And in between, one of the top drivers, Johnny Chicado, and his job, not only to finish second, but also to hold off Laurent Aiello. This is going to be a tough race, and everybody's running together. Dirk Mueller, one of the new drivers in the field, and his Audi gets bumped by Philip Pater. Boy, is Pater, they got the car repaired, got him back out on the track, and now he's damaged the front again. Oh, and he's going to go off the course. Mueller was able to hold position. That was back around 20th position. Meanwhile, up the top three have come together a little bit. Menzel is still there. Here comes Aiello, working on Chicado. No room. He'll just settle in and fill Chicado's rearview mirror. Somewhere they've got to be really careful because the tire wear here is critical. But nobody can hold back right now, mainly because the Peugeot of Laurent Aiello is putting the pressure on. Uwe Alsen in the Opel running sixth. He's moving up on Chicado, but there is no room to get by him. This will not be an easy pass for him. If he's able to make it, it will be a tough one, no matter what. Mainly because Chicado is just a tough man to get by. There is no room. He can take that small little BMW and make it very, very wide. Once again by pit lane. Heading out on the next lap. Winkelhock had that bad race, as we talked about, between races there at the Nürburgring. Those were his only two did not finishes. He came back after that one with 4 straight wins. An amazing run. And Aiello bumps into Chicado and loses at least one position. But Chicado's not finished. He's coming back. Oh, the drama picks up here. That is not something that Johnny Chicado is going to take lightly. Whether he can catch up or not, that's another question. But even more important is Aiello has dropped back. He's dropped back all the way to 5th place. He's behind Uwe Alsen. He comes up. It looked like he might have braked a little bit late, but he definitely gave Chicado a shove. Chicado got the car back and running, but they both dropped spaces. So here comes the battle once again, and there is Chicado. Boy, this is going to be a tough road now. Chicado is all the way back in 7th position. Aiello now has Alsen ahead of him. Aiello is running 5th right now. Van Omen is running 3rd, but he can't help his teammate much. Aiello has got to catch up. And he's got to get by the Opel of Uwe Alsen. And of course, Alsen, carrying the Opel banners, wants to stay up as far front as he can. He's top man as far as the Opel points are concerned. That'll be important when it comes to contract time. There they are, Winkelhock, Menzel, then comes Van Omen in the Peugeot, Uwe Alsen in the Opel, and Laurent Aiello. If Aiello were able to come back and win this thing, he certainly would have had a tremendous driving performance. Maybe a little controversial, but it certainly will show the man can push the car, that's for sure. But you can see the car has been bent a little bit. This is one heck of a show here in Lahr. Brand new course in the series for the Super Touring Car Cups, and the fans here certainly getting to see quite a show. And the question is, can Laurent Aiello do it again? Can he get to the front? He needs to pass Jochen Winkelhock to win the championship. And naturally, Winkelhock needs to stay in front of Aiello to have a chance for the championship, which then would be decided at the Nürburgring. So far, Aiello has not been able to put any kind of a move on Alsen. The BMWs are pulling away. Alsen then pulls around, and Aiello is by him. Laurent Aiello is by Alsen. Whether Alsen let him by, going a little bit wide, or whether Aiello did it on his own, really doesn't matter right now. Aiello is running fourth. Now we pick up the action. In the 21st lap, Aiello has moved into third. He is battling right now with young Christian Menzel for second place. And Menzel is holding him off. But Aiello looks like he might have the line here. They bump, and Aiello does get by. So Laurent Aiello is now on the back bumper of the man that he needs to pass to win the championship. It's come down to the top two here in Lahr as the laps slowly run away. Have they conserved their tires? Have they overpushed the cars? Here comes Aiello. Way wide. Enough room? No. Winkelhock stayed inside and shut the door. Aiello is going to have to work awfully hard to get by him. Menzel once again is pulling up next to Aiello. And Winkelhock is pulling him along. And Aiello gets shoved out by Alsen. Look at that. And Gabriele Raffanelli is jumping with joy. Uwe Alsen, the Opel, came to the aid of the BMWs. But now Alsen is running third and putting pressure on second place. Aiello, meanwhile, has dropped back to fourth. No, he's back to fifth. Johnny Cecotto has come up from seventh and passed Aiello. So now Aiello is running fifth. 1 minute he was challenging the leader. Now he's all the way back in fifth position. What an unbelievable day for him, and what a great race. But the leaders are still together. There comes Winkelhock, the man that has to win if he wants to stay in the championship. The young rookie, Christian Menzel, in that white BMW right now, being challenged and passed by Uwe Alsen. And then comes Aiello, and Aiello has to try to get by that BMW of Johnny Cecotto. 5 cars running in a group, all wanting to win. But 2 of them more than the other 5. That last yellow Peugeot in the group, he needs to win the championship. He certainly tried. Some days are tougher than others, and this has certainly been that one for him. Uwe Alsen, his teammate, is running 2 positions back. Cecotto and Menzel make the track very wide, and Aiello bumps into Menzel. And Menzel spins. And then gets a little bit of a bump from Bartels. And then he spins again. Something's wrong with Menzel's car. So Christian Menzel, who had run so well, has dropped back. Aiello is running fourth. Here we go into that corner. You can see Aiello bumped into Menzel to get by. Molière swings by and is able to clear the track. Menzel had the line in the corner. Oh boy. And part of the car, part of that Peugeot was dragging on that right-hand side. And then, to top it all off, Menzel got bumped again. Boy, that's a tough day for him. Bumped by one of the Opels. So now it's a matter of bringing it home as far as the BMWs are concerned. Cicotto is running third. He made a great charge from seventh after being spun out by Aiello. He would like to get by Alsen. That front lead car is a lap car, that Alfa Romeo. Cicotto wants to get by Alsen badly. Your leader is that right there, Joachim Winkelhock. Michel Bartels is the man who bumped into Menzel and sent him spinning through the bubble corner. Joachim Winkelhock. The pressure has never been off. Everybody's been challenging him. For a while he had a little bit of protection with Johnny Cicotto behind him, but then Aiello challenged, and now Alsen's challenging. No way to preserve the car at all. There is Christian Menzel. He's out of the car. It's over with for him. But he put on a great show. He did a great job for BMW when you consider it's not a factory car. And he was able to run with the lead cars. Winkelhock now is putting some distance between himself and Uwe Alsen. Winkelhock sees victory and a chance to stay alive in the points race. Cicotto is doing everything he can to get by Alsen. And as of yet, he has not succeeded. Once again by the start-finish line, aim for that 100-meter mark. Then the right-hander with a long runoff area. Down the straightaway. Aiello is not closing the distance. Aiello, something is wrong. This is the first time in the races that he has not been able to close in. He has put that car through every maneuver you can imagine to stay up with everybody. He has pushed and pushed and pushed, and literally pushed some of the other cars. Right now he looks like he's really mired in fourth. If he finishes fourth, then Winkelhock will not get too much of a lead in the able to gain too much ground on him in the points lead. And there it is again. Aiello with the spin. And the reaction. Gabriele Raffanelli. A key moment. And then again, once again, Menzel spins. The young rookie driver doing very well for him here. And here comes Cicotto. And he is getting by Uwe Alsen. So Cicotto takes over second. Alsen is running third. And Laurent Aiello in the Peugeot is running fourth. But look at this. Winkelhock now has some breathing room. And Marco Werner is off the course. Marco Werner in the Honda's off. And Jorg van Olmen has problems with his Peugeot. A tire is gone on Jorg van Olmen's car. He's out. So the remaining Peugeot is that of Laurent Aiello. A car that's been pushed to the limits here in the feature race. That was a collision. Jorg van Olmen and Marco Werner collided. Werner went off, and van Olmen had a tire go down. Here comes Aiello working on Uwe Alsen, and Alsen doesn't let him by this time. Alsen's going to hold on to third. He wants it bad. He's done extremely well this season. It'll match his best performance so far. So the top four, actually the battle is for third right now because Cicotto's just going to settle there and not let anybody get near Joachim Winkelhock. It's his job to hold off the rest of the field. Boy, he came back charging quickly from 7th to get by Aiello. A very temperamental driver. When he sets his mind to something like that, the only thing that could happen to stop him is if the car breaks. And Aiello's got problems. It looks like the motor's gone. Aiello has problems. If that's the case, Winkelhock can pick up valuable points here. Aiello has slowed. It's over for him. Now it's a matter of saying, where does he finish? Does he pick up any points at all? If not, Winkelhock will close in. And Nürburgring means championship time in the Super Touring Car Cup. After a long, hard race, Laurent Aiello and his Peugeot look like they're going to have to call it quits or sort of come home crippled. Only a lap or so to go. Whether he can bring it in or not, that's another question. It sounds terrible. That motor is gone. He is slowing down even more. He's going to have to park it. And a happy BMW crew. The competition is out. We're in the last lap. And Joachim Winkelhock is back in the championship. Let the mathematicians go to work and tell us how close he's come, but he is definitely back, and it definitely will be decided at the Nürburgring. And Uwe Alsen will finish a very strong third for the Opel crew, which continues to improve. An amazing performance this year. Alsen became popular with the fans in the first race of the season when the door in his car came off and he drove a couple laps with no door on the driver's side. Of course, he had to come in. There he is, Laurent Aiello, a very disappointed driver. He knows now it's going to go to the Nürburgring. It's now just a couple of corners. As Aiello watches the action and walks home. The crew greets them as they head toward the start-finish line. Joachim Winkelhock wins the feature race here in Lahr in the Super Touring Car Cup and is back in the points race. And a happy Benghazi team. And there are your top three. Showtime for the fans. Disappointment for someone else. There it is. Winkelhock, Cecotto, Alsen, great finishes. And look at that, Modena came in 10th in the Alfa Romeo. But the day belonged to Joachim Winkelhock.
Yeah, but the real winner today was Johnny Cecotto and Christian Menzel, because without the help from them, I could not win the race, you know. The first 10 laps it was not easy, but it was really possible to follow Johnny. But after, when I passed Johnny, when he let me pass, I had really a lot of problems with the tire, understeer, oversteer, and so in the middle of the race I was no more confident, you know. But still behind me was Christian Menzel, and he did a really great job. Thanks to Christian, and of course thanks a lot to the team and Johnny Cecotto.
During the middle, we talked about the fact you said mathematically there's a chance. Now with a little bit of luck, you might be a good mathematician.
Yeah, of course, you know, really, I try always to be a little bit, I'm not such a big optimist, but you know that Laurent Aiello has such a lot of problems today. Okay, this I could not expect, and so really, he was the fastest in the field. But okay, finally we won the race.
You couldn't ask for a more exciting event, not only for the fans, but for you it must have been pretty tight.
Yes, it was, because Joe, we know that he's having some understeer in the car, and we told him to Johnny to let him pass and protect him from the rear, which was our tactics anyhow, and Mansell did a fantastic race. Then Aiello spun Johnny, and Johnny was very angry, got back and passed him again, but I didn't want any dirty play on anyway. And then Aiello spun again Mansell, and I think he cooked his goods. That's all the rest of it. It's not the way. If he would have behaved better, I think it would have been much better for the sport. But it was a fantastic race, BMW day today for everybody. The championship is open, and I think we'll see the Nürburgring.
And there it is, Aiello with a 30-point lead over Joachim Winkelhock. Johnny Cecotto is third. Cecotto coming from way back to finish second in the race.
Yeah, that's right. I had a push from Aiello, which I didn't expect. I don't know why he was trying so hard, because it was not good for him finally. But okay, for me it was quite good. It was a good day. The car was fantastic, and I could have won easy both races. I had to help Joe, and I'm quite happy that he managed to win, and everything is quite open for Nürburgring. So.
Is it something for you? Is it a little bit difficult sometimes to know you really have to hold back? Is that a little hard sometimes?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when not all the time you have chances to win races, and today was really my day, and so to have to back off is not that easy.
Also celebrating today are the Opel fans. Another great performance by Uwe Alsen.
Very long race and very hard race. It's absolutely crazy. We have a very, very good fight and a very fair fight with Cecotto and Winkelhock and the other drivers. Congratulations on Winkelhock and Cecotto. Maybe the third place. Okay, I'm absolutely happy.
Next stop on the tour, the Nürburgring. They'll run the short course in the Super Touring Car Cup. The championship will be on the line. And that does it for our coverage of the Super Touring Car Cup here in the Black Forest of Germany in Lahr. This is Milt Fitzwater reporting. Hope to see you at the Nürburgring.